So, who would have ever guessed? Who would have ever guessed that, a lot of the old WNBA fans would completely turn on Candace Parker? Who would have ever guessed? Because Candace Parker is a basketball person. She's just talking ball. She's just talking ball. And if you guys agree this is crazy, subscribe. We are trying to hit 54.5k by tip-off of tonight's game. We are 22 subscribers off. If we could do that, that'd be absolutely incredible. But anyway, we got to talk about this. Basically, all this comes from is that Candace Parker made a tier list and put, of all the top players in the WNBA, where, by the way, every single player, or like all the players on this list were good. So there's no bad players. It's like if you had a tier list where you only had the top 10 players in the world, you would have a top 10 player in the world in D tier. Like, it is what it is. And basically, first of all, the Angel Reese fans attacked her because she basically said what is correct. Angel Reese is a fantastic third option. There's a lot of positive things that she does, but it's mainly about her offensive rebounding. And her main thing is her offensive rebounding, which, by the way, I would put Angel Reese a tier higher than Candace Parker did, and I think she probably would too now, because it is she's been on an absolute tear. The last 8 or 9 games, she's been on an absolute tear. And if she can consistently keep that up, yeah, we put her into a super high conversation with some of the best players in the world. But another thing, the UConn fans have turned on her. Apparently it's UConn bias, saying that Caitlin Clark is better than Paige. So there were tiers, and she put Caitlin and Breanna in the same tier, and it was you can't put Paige in the same tier as them. And they were we thought you knew basketball. It's we're so disappointed in your lack of ball knowledge. There is no argument for Paige Bueckers better than Caitlin Clark. There's actually none. You can't even use the efficiency, because Paige is less efficient than rookie Caitlin Clark was. Paige has a lower true shooting percentage than Caitlin Clark was. And if you, the only argument you can make is assist to turnover ratio. Nobody has ever judged a guard in the history of the sport of basketball by their assist to turnover ratio. I'm sorry. Because you know who? If we are talking about assist to turnover ratio, do you know who would be one of the best players in college basketball history? The person that Caitlin Clark haters like to make so much fun of, because even though he was a top 100 recruit, he only averaged 6 points per game in college. Caitlin Clark's boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey. Connor McCaffrey is one of the all-time leaders in assist to turnover ratio in NCAA Division 1. He's one of the all-time leaders. I'm sorry, Magic Johnson won an MVP while leading the league in turnovers. Russ won an MVP while being second in the league. Harden, I think, won an MVP while leading the league in turnovers. Steve Nash won an MVP. And I'm not sure if they were all in the same year, but I'm trying to think of MVPs who in an individual season have led the league in turnovers. Russ, Magic, Nash, and Harden. So basically, every point guard since 1980, every point guard that has won MVP in the NBA has at some stage in their career led the NBA in turnovers. And people are pretending that assist to turnover ratio matters. It doesn't. It doesn't. Either way, the assist to turnover ratio is a stat that does matter slightly, and it does favor Paige, but assist to turnover ratio favors players being safe. It favors players being safe. And it punishes players making stuff happen. And one player makes stuff happen, the other is the safest player ever. One player is a hell of a player, but her mentality is let me try to not make the wrong play. Whereas the other is let me try and make a winning play, even if it means there's a chance of me making the wrong play. You have to be... I always say this about Paige Bueckers. Paige Bueckers is scared to miss. There's a lot of shots Paige Bueckers is scared to miss, so she doesn't take them. She is scared to miss a lot of big shots. Whereas Caitlin Clark is not scared to miss. Realistically, you want to be somewhere in between. Caitlin's way better. Caitlin's way better. Caitlin's a floor raiser. Caitlin's a ceiling raiser. They're equal on defense. Maybe Paige, because she locks in a bit more, is a slightly better defender. But, no, it's not, there's no debate. But apparently Candace Parker, they've turned on Candace Parker. Because, you know, it is only about respecting legends when the legends agree with your nonsense. It's only about respecting Cheryl Swoops when Cheryl Swoops is hating on Caitlin Clark. Like, and it's not even when Cheryl Swoops is talking about Caitlin Clark. It was the hate. They're celebrating Cheryl Swoops when Cheryl Swoops said she was of equal, or implied she was of equal importance to Katie Lou Samuelson. Then it's respect Cheryl Swoops. It's respect Cheryl Swoops when she lied and said she was 25 years old. But it's not respect Cheryl Swoops when Cheryl Swoops is talking basketball. No, they don't want that. It's their club. It is their club. And realistically, they're all going mad at Candace Parker, trying to diminish Candace Parker's career. And let's be real, Candace Parker is, I don't put her in my top 5 of all time, but she's still one of the greatest of all time. She's one of the greatest of all time. And she is a basketball person. She has gone out. There's a big difference, what I'll say, between like NECA and Candace Parker and their mentality. Candace Parker is like, we want this to be like the NBA. We want the criticism. We want all of this. Whereas NECA Wumake is like, watch but don't criticize. Don't criticize us, all this stuff. The league would be better if there were more Candace Parkers. If there were more Candace Parkers, let's be honest. Because, let's be real, Candace Parker knows that there are negative things coming from being Candace Parker, from being that type of player, as is shown by the amount of hate. Because let's be real, Candace Parker is now being called every racist term for a person of her race possible, because this is who she is married to. This is who she's married to. Nothing to do with the fact that like this is her ex-husband. Like it doesn't really matter that she was married to Sheldon Williams for a while. She's married to Sheldon Williams for a while. That doesn't matter. But apparently now she's so anti-Paige and anti-Angel because of who she's married to. Paige might be Paige is the funniest thing. Paige is, like, that is literally the funniest thing I've ever heard. Hating Paige because you're racist. You would never have guessed which is which. But anyway, it's not basketball. There's absolutely no basketball argument for Paige Bueckers over Caitlin Clark. There's no basketball argument for Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark. Man, Paige Bueckers, I'm going to say Paige Bueckers has beat more teams above 500 than Angel Reese has in her career. Angel Reese, teams above 500 that Angel Reese beat in her career. She beat the Liberty when she scored 7 points, I think, and was like basically the team's 5th option. They beat the Fever, who were like way below 500. So even like at the time, after maybe like 2 to 3 games, because if a team's 0-1, you beat them, or if a team's 1-0, you beat them, they might be a disaster. Actual decent teams that they beat. They beat the Liberty last year. They beat the Storm last year. They beat the Aces last year, and they beat the Lynx this year. In her career, Angel Reese has beaten 4 decent teams. This season, Caitlin Clark has beaten the Dream twice, the Storm once, and the Liberty. She's played 12 games. Caitlin Clark has had more wins against decent teams in 12 games than Angel's had in her career. So we're not starting that debate because it's not even close. Like, what's the point? And I'm not going to say it's like comparing Steph Curry to Marcin Gortat. It's like comparing Magic Johnson to Andre Drummond. Because Andre Drummond is not an insult. Anyone who's saying Andre Drummond is an insult doesn't know how good Andre Drummond was in his peak. He was the best player on a playoff team. So yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. That is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.